Hi, I'm Greg Hunter. This is the weekly news wrap up, the WNW 409 for Friday, the 8th of November, 2019. Folks, a lot of you have said to me, I should just stop the USA Today. And you know what? This is the last time you're going to see me hold up the USA Today. It's just every day, some lie by omission, some phony poll, some lie by outright getting it wrong. At one point, last Thursday, they put up a chart saying, "Here's the official beginning of the impeachment inquiry." Really? Well, they didn't have a vote. They had a chart from weeks earlier. Wrong. It wasn't official. And so here is just, this is just the last you'll see it. I got a refund for it. I can't stand it. I mean, I even called up the USA Today and said, you lost me. I talked to a guy named Manny who I talked to before and said, you guys are an arm of the Democrat National Committee. I mean, but he doesn't see it that way. Oh no, we do journalism. Right, really, okay. All right, so every day, just some way to make you think that the president, this is another frame job. This is the same thing I told you before about how they made it up with the Russia collusion in the Mueller investigation. And sure enough, what happened after a couple of years, they made it up. And they're doing it again. They're making it up. And the press is helping. After all, the FBI did have a media leak strategy. And the media is dutifully helping spin what's going on to make it look like Trump has done something wrong when he hasn't. We have the transcript of the call. He didn't do anything wrong. We have the Ukrainian saying, no pressure. No. We have the president of Ukraine, no pressure. No. But they have to make this up. You even had one guy who said that, there was pressure. Well, where'd you find that information? Oh, well, the New York Times. You can't make this up, folks. So here's the USA Today, many reasons why I've finally stopped. This is the last time you're going to see it up here. The two envoys. One of them is this Ambassador Yovanovitch. Hold on. Just read along with me here. This is how they're reporting it, folks. Let me get in there. Let me get out. And there we go. All right. Testimony by Yovanovitch. This is this ambassador to Ukraine and McKinley were the first of a series of transcripts to be released from closed-door deposition, which they think that's just fine. There's no national security thing here. They're just having a closed-door deposition and cherry-picking what they want to release. Yovanovitch quoted saying that she was pulled off her job after hearing that Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, had been criticizing her. Stop. Number one, she serves at the pleasure of the president. She was an Obama holdover. She kept her job for 3 years. Number two, she was dogging her boss, the president of the United States. That's pretty widely known. Number three, she was surveilling reporters. It's been reported. Number four, it's been reported that she had a do not prosecute list that she was foisting upon the Iranian officials. So you're never going to hear about this in the USA Today thought-shaping propaganda arm of the Democrat Party rag. But listen, this whole deal, and I just want to make this clear to you. You keep hearing this, well, it's partisan, or that's just the Democrats. They just hate the president. No. Listen, lots of people are going to go to jail. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I think it's coming closer and closer. The FISA report has been delayed, but now we know we have a good solid reason why it's delayed. Prosecutor Durham, which Barr has appointed, is holding it up because of he's having grand jury testimony, and I think there are going to be charges coming sooner than later. But this just goes to show you what kind of an op this is. This is this is the whistleblower's attorney, Mark Zaid. He vowed to get rid of Trump in tweets in 2017. Zaid, the John Podesta, Clinton, and Schumer-linked attorney who funded the anti-Trump nonprofit Whistleblower Aid in 2017. That's just more proof. The inquiry, a deep state operation. And why are they so desperate to get rid of them? Well, you're going to find out that many people committed, felonious acts with this FISA deal. FISA is supposed to encompass much, much more than what happened, at this fake, Russian collusion thing. Now they have a new hoax they're trying to build, and they're doing it with closed-door testimony and selectively leaking things so they can thought-shape the public to think Donald Trump's a criminal. Before, he was a spy for Russia. an asset of Russia. Now we're off that. Now he's just a criminal for his quid pro quo. The Ukrainian president said, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. I have the cartoon, which I have here. Just it just kind of says it all. Ukraine, free the prosecutor, investigate my son, fire the prosecutor, investigating my son, or they don't get the money. And then Trump, Ukraine, you may want to look into this and shift. Quid pro quo. We do something for something. That the president can't look into the crimes of the deep state. I mean, many crimes happen. And listen, if you think about this whole Russian collusion hoax, it started out as Russian hacking. Remember that? That the Russian hacked the DNC server? Well, that server is in Ukraine. They got off that story. They called it Russian collusion instead of Russian hacking. Also, Hillary Clinton got paid $10 million from the Ukrainian. There's quid pro quo real from Biden, who's bragging at the Council on Foreign Relations that, I told them to fire that prosecutor or I'm leaving in 6 hours. And hey, son of a gun. He said son of a bitch. But he said, hey, listen, they fired him. And you know why he was doing that, right? You think, why was he doing it at the Council on Foreign Relations? Here we are again, Council on Foreign Relations. The globalist weasels that Tulsi Gabbard is aligned with, that want to destroy we the people in America and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Yeah, those people. And he's bragging to the people at the Council on Foreign Relations, and I think he's just saying, yeah, I'm your criminal. Yeah, look at this. I'm Al Capone. I'm a gangster. But he actually described his own, you stop investigating my son and we'll give you the billion U.S. tax dollars. And then you're going to give us some kickbacks. It's, I'm telling you, the reason why they're fighting Donald Trump and coming up with one scam, hoax, liar, testimony after another, they got to build a case. They got to build a scam. I don't think it's going to go anywhere in the Senate, although a couple of friends of mine said, I don't trust some of these senators. I mean, I don't trust them. But I do think that people are going to go to jail. And here's why. So here on this is Joe diGenova. It's going to be devastating. It's going to ruin careers. Joe diGenova, the IG report delayed due to Durham grand jury. Several Obama DOJ officials will be indicted. And listen, that's just the beginning. I think he said this on Fox Business on Wednesday. I think this is just going to be the beginning. This is me talking here of many prosecutions. Russia collusion hoax, very much related to the Ukraine developing hoax, the one they're trying to build. It's the Steele dossier. Where did he get some of the sources? Ukraine. Look at the payoffs and look at the server, CrowdStrike. Look at Hillary Clinton collecting tons of money there. The Bidens, Nancy Pelosi's son is on some board there. Mitt Romney, the Trump-hating rhino Mitt Romney, has connections to Ukraine. I mean, it just stinks, and that's just Ukraine. That doesn't count China. I mean, you got to ask Hunter Biden, what did you do for $1.5 billion in China? What did you do for that? Same thing in Ukraine. What did you do for $50,000 a month for millions of dollars for you and your buddy? What did you do for that? Well, senators have caught on, and they are asking the State Department, for all the information about what was given to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden at their request with Ukraine and the United States and the tax dollars we were sending them. And folks, this has taken a long time. I mean, this is an unbelievable scam. This is absolutely unbelievable. Joe diGenova calls this where'd you hear this before? He says that lawyers are going to be, not only are they going to jail, even if they don't go to jail, they'll be disbarred, possibly. He says it's the biggest political scandal in history. Where have you heard that before? This makes Watergate look like a squirt gun fight. And again, Durham is the one, prosecutor Durham is who's supposed to have some bad mamma jamma record for prosecution, is holding up the IG report with his grand jury. This is a guy actually going after the truth, and I think there'll be charges. But think about how big this was. This involved the White House, number one, Obama, the CIA, Brennan, the DNI, Clapper, and people under him. They all have people under him. When I say the White House, it's Susan Rice, Power, the all the unmasking that went on. This is unbelievable. And let's not forget this. I had him on, had me able to get it back on, Edward Klein, who said, on December 16th, 2016, this is after the election, they hatched a plan to unmask all these people. This is Obama at a dinner with Rice and a bunch of people at the White House. This is Edward Klein. This has never been refuted, folks. So it's not just some figment of somebody's imagination. And so if you look at how big this was, the FBI, Comey, his lieutenant, his lieutenant's attorney, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, who worked for GPS, the DNC, the Perkins Coie law firm, the Christopher Steele, spies inside the White House, spies outside the White House, foreign spy agencies gaming our NSA and abusing the 702 process, contractors basically scamming our 702 process, used a dossier paid for by Hillary Clinton. She took over the DNC, according to Donna Brazell, for $20 million. They completely took it over. The DNC paid for the dossier they used to fraudulently apply for spy warrants to spy on everything Trump. I mean, this is mind-boggling, mind-blowing stuff. And now you see why some little petty Watergate break-in and cutting up 18 minutes of tape and all that. Can you see Nixon? Can you see that? I mean, Nixon, no national security was involved, no money exchanged hands. But that's not this. This is bribes and payoffs and sedition and treason. And what could make somebody commit felony after felony? Because of the bribes, the treason, the sedition, the kickbacks, the obstruction of justice, because they're all into it up to their necks. It's not just because they don't like, a farm animal. And that's why this is so absolutely brutal with what's going on with the impeachment hoax. They're not going to stop until they go to jail. So that's why this is, I think, taken a long time. I'm hoping in my heart of hearts that we will get justice. And I don't see how Trump can win unless people go to jail, unless he actually drains the swamp. And he was talking about draining the swamp again at his rallies at Mississippi and his Kentucky rallies and things like that. And he's talking about how unfair the trade deals are. Well, that's all swamp stuff. People are getting paid off. Why are they unfair? They're not stupid. They're bribed. They're getting paid off. Which I can't understand how Democrats, take Richmond. They now have both houses of the state government. Northam, the governor, declares a war on Virginia gun owners. I mean, they'll hold it before. Let me just go ahead and read this. In an interview with CNN early Wednesday, Northam described his agenda to include the so-called red flag law, background checks, one gun a month, and ban on high-volume magazines. Red flag laws. Ooh, I don't like his politics, so take his guns. I mean, these people, this is, Northam. He was the pediatrician. I think he's a doctor. I think he's a pediatrician who said that, if a baby makes it to an abortion, we'll put him in a room somewhere and make him comfortable and let him die. This is the Democrats. 44 Democratic senators voted to let a baby die that makes it through an abortion. This is the Democrats. This is their party. I mean, they're not talking about jobs or making your life better or, cutting down on your paperwork or increasing your wages, making better trade deals, stopping all this illegal alien, crossings across the border. One American News, I think it's got it pegged at $230 billion, and they keep saying President Trump just wanted $5 billion for a wall. And incidentally, Pelosi and Schiff, the Democrats, blocked all U.S. wall funding, but they funded walls for, oddly enough, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, Lebanon. Unbelievable. They support border security for foreign countries, but not here in America. So that is bizarre. And if you think about that, I don't understand what Democrats are wanting in this world. I mean, they want to raise your taxes, take your guns. They want your children to be entertained by transvestites in the library. They want you to believe everything they believe. And if you don't, I swear they want to put you in a concentration camp. I mean, that's what happened with Hillary, re-education camp. Because as she said, I've said this many times, I heard her say it to Chris Wallace, that boob, there are limits to the Second Amendment, and there are limits to the First. Yeah, right. This is another very strange trend. This is more Democrat, tomfoolery, cheating. Basically, 4 prosecutors who just won elections in Virginia were all backed by Soros. Well, what does that mean? Electing prosecutors that will not prosecute, so they can create chaos in society. So they won't prosecute illegal aliens. They won't prosecute crimes. They won't prosecute things. They'll just destroy society. That's what George Soros is looking for. That's what he's looking for. We just had Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. ICE wrote a nasty press release for it. They released a felon alien who basically has a felony death by motor vehicle because he is drunk driving. They released him back into the community in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's basically Mecklenburg County is Charlotte. This is what they did in North Carolina. Got control of the sheriff's offices in the biggest cities in North Carolina, the biggest counties with the biggest cities. In Guilford County, Greensboro, that's a crazy radical sheriff that is not complying with ICE detainers, will release criminal aliens. Mecklenburg County, Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, another crazy sheriff that thinks more of criminal illegal aliens and releasing them into the public. I mean, these are rapists, murderers. These aren't nice people. And yet, this is what the Democrats are going for, so they can increase their voter rolls. They can have more seats if they have more illegal aliens, which is why they don't want them counted in the census, because they get more seats, and then they turn those seats blue, and it's been estimated that anywhere from, 10 to 40 seats, 30 seats are additional with all the illegal alien that have been apportioned to Democrats in Congress. That's just outrageous. And they don't want anything to upset, the illegal alien voting. They want lawlessness. This is the Democrats. Next thing I want to talk about is this, and folks, I try not to glaze your eyes over with the economic stuff. I try to get a couple of bullet points so you understand where I'm coming from, and a couple of people that'll speak out that think the way I do. They're a lot smarter and a lot richer than me, but let's just start here. Here we have, this is one day this week, folks. This is Thursday. New York Fed adds $115.4 billion in short-term liquidity to the markets. Actually, what they should say, to the banks. Auctions include $30.14 billion in overnight repurchase agreement and $35 billion in 14-day repo. And a repo is where a bank puts up, back in 08 and 09, they were putting up mortgage-backed securities. They were toxic. Remember that? And then nobody trusted the collateral for short-term loans that right now it's paying about 1% and 1.5% to 1.75% for overnight money. And so what the Fed has had to do is step in and be the supplier of money and the supplier of collateral. Well, they're funding the market. Please keep in mind, this is with now $60 billion a month that nobody on CNBC or Fox Business or anybody else wants to talk about. They're having these unbelievable fundings. I mean, one night a few weeks ago was $134 billion, $100 billion, $80 billion. This is a night. This is a day per day, along with the $60 billion a month they're pumping into the markets, into the banks. What's going on? What really is going on? Is it General Electric, which has been deemed a bigger fraud than Enron by Marco Polos, the guy that busted Bernie Madoff? Is it Deutsche Bank that has fired thousands of people globally and they lost, up to 4 billion euro? What's that, 4.3 or 4 billion dollars in the second and third quarters of this year? What's going on? Nobody wants to talk about all this, maximum amount of money printing. Again, I told you, keep in mind, this is Thursday. This happened Thursday this week. All this money produced in one day. Don't worry, nothing is wrong. Not. And let me just point no further. Hold on a minute. I lost something. Okay, we're back. Let me just point no further. I got a paper that made my screen go dark, but it was still okay. There we go. Ray Dalio is a Bridgewater Capital. He manages $160 billion, biggest, I think, hedge fund in the world. He's a very smart guy. Look what he just wrote a piece recently. He posted it on LinkedIn. And he's freaking out about how crazy the markets are, how easy the money is, how upside down all the numbers are. Ray Dalio, the world has gone mad. This is his title. and the system is broken. This is his title, Dalio's title. Okay? Here's a guy with 1,700 employees in a financial services company, a hedge fund, and 160 billion under management. This is no kook. Okay? Dalio says it's, quote, unsustainable and certainly can no longer be pushed, this is talking about the economy, as it has been pushed since 2008. That is why I believe the world is approaching a big paradigm shift. Hey, listen, you know what happened in 2008, folks? I'm going to sum it up for you simply. They suspended the laws of bankruptcy. The Fed stepped in and decided that after Lehman Brothers, nobody would go bankrupt. That's it. I mean, if you believe in capitalism, and I do, and what we have is some crony, crazy Fed intervention, Fed manipulation, Fed money printing, bond buying, cuckoo time, lowering rates, Nuttyville. That's what we have, okay? We don't have, and they're afraid of letting somebody go bankrupt because of the daisy chain of debt. You know, I had Gerald Celente come out and say, they keep telling us there's 250 trillion in debt. Yeah, that's right. He says, that they've been telling that for a couple of years. So what is it real number? 275, 300 trillion? I mean, how big does the debt bubble have to get? And Ray Dalio is telling you, hey, something's wrong. So I came up with a new game show called Let's play What's the Real Number? Okay, let's start with inflation. Is it 2%, the government says, or is it 10%, shadowstats.com? How about unemployment? Is it 4%? Shadowstats.com, 21%. Let's go down to the U.S. debt clock.org. This is on the debt clock. AU, it's 1469, but the U.S. debt clock.org has it at 7,600. Silver is at COMEX, is at COMEX 1710, but the U.S. debt clock has it pegged with the amount of dollar to the amount of silver out there, $919. Dow Jones, 27,674. Without intervention and manipulation of everything, what would it be? National debt, 23 trillion. Well, let's add the missing money, 21 trillion, and you have 44 trillion. That's the real number, folks. So what is the real number? Is gold a whole lot higher than what it is now? Is the dollar stronger, is less strong than what you're saying it is with all the intervention and all the suppression of interest rates and bond buying and 60 billion a month now going on right now? Where's that money going of QE money printing? You have a 30-year mortgage that's clocking in at 3.7 to 3.9%, really, with 44 trillion dollars of actual debt, and it's probably higher than that because you got to add the missing money, which is a real number derived from Dr. Mark Skidmore and his team of people at Michigan State University using Inspector General reports just from HUD and Department Defense, DOD, HUD and DOD. That's not Trump's fault, incidentally. None of this is not Trump's fault. I mean, we'd be in a full-blown depression if Trump wouldn't have done the moves he moved. And, my feeling that you hear Peter Schiff out here and other people who I love and I think is very smart. But when you take a look at, he had, this is 44 trillion now. He had 41 trillion the day he walked into office. He's going to cut everything and crash the market right then and there? I mean, you think we're going to pay back any of this money? This isn't what we have in the future. This is what we owe right now. Okay? Do you think we're going to pay any of that back? If you're president and you want to get reelected, what's another trillion or two? I mean, we're never paying it back, right? I'm going to beef up the military. I'm going to get these judicial appointments in. I'm going to go after the people that are subverting the country, the deep state. That tried to knock me out of office, even though I was elected. I'm the duly elected president. And some people say, "Oh, he's working for the deep state." I don't buy that. I don't. He does this for $1 a year, folks. $1 a year. He donates his salary. That's cuckoo crazy time. He doesn't need any more money. He's 70 something. He stopped the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Yeah, I know some of his deals aren't perfect, but that was a biggie. The Paris Climate Accord, that was a complete fraud fest there. We were going to pay for China and India to pollute until the year 2030. Yeah, no. How about the Iran deal, which was a darling deal by the globalist deep state? Listen, there have been multiple attempts on Trump's life. He's got a lot of people against him. I'm sure he's going to have to cut deals to get along, to basically get along with some people. And it's a very complicated, 10D chess. And so what's the real number? And the answer is, I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. Ray Dalio is worried. He manages $160 billion. He's not a kook. He's a real player, and he's worried. I mean, if you read his whole thing, you should go online and find it and read his whole thing. And you basically, if you just read between the lines, he's freaking out. He don't know what, we're off the rails. But they want to tell you everything's fine, go to the movies, go out to eat, everything's fine. And I'm saying, just prepare yourself, protect yourself. Yeah, I'm not saying, be fearful and hide under a rock. I'm saying be informed. That's what all this is about, be informed. I want to tell you that this one last thing by the Democrats, which is another crazy thing, I already said that. I want to tell you one more thing by the Democrats, the deep state, the mainstream media. I mean, the mainstream media is outed itself, as I started out saying, one big propaganda machine for not just the Democrats. The Democrats have turned completely, totally deep state. They want to have abortion worldwide to kill billions of people, to abort billions of babies, to kill billions of people so they can save the earth. I mean, this is the Democrats. The Green New Stupid Deal, the open borders, the benefits for alien, health insurance for alien. Who pays for all that? They want to bankrupt the country. They want to crash the country. Soros is getting prosecutors who won't prosecute so they can bust out your windows and go, oh, that wasn't a big enough crime. They want to take away your guns. They want to disarm you. I mean, this is the whole Democrat platform, folks. Not jobs and better food and better pay and more security and more freedom. And no. No. And so when you take a look at what happened with the Amy Robach story, and she's opining on camera about how they spiked her story. I get a call from Rob Kirby and says, dude, listen, I'm reading the story. This is outrageous. And, now they found out who it was. This person is a woman, moved to CBS. They fired her. This is like, you did what in high school? We're going to fire you for that. You did what at another network? We're firing you for that. I mean, they're in lockstep. This woman who released this to Project Veritas should get an award. This is the CBS, the home of the great journalist Edward R. Murrow. And they're getting in lockstep with the mainstream media, propaganda, globalist pedophiles. They basically, CBS sided with these guys. Fires a staffer who had access to the Robach Epstein rant. I don't know if that was on some sort of satellite feed or whatever, but listen, they just got released. Anyway, Rob Kirby, my friend, calls me and says, listen, I want to interview you. I want to interview you about this. He said, I didn't want to do it. He said, do it. Listen, do something different. I want to talk about your experience at ABC. I worked at ABC from November of 99 to July of 2005. And he says, I want to interview you. I want to figure out what goes on behind the scenes. How did this happen? How did they expect this? Who killed this store? Anyway, so there's a link in the after the wrap-up section. If you want to watch that interview, you can. It was Rob Kirby's idea. I think it turned out okay, but he says, I want to ask you a bunch of questions. So he took over. So there's a link there. And with that, I want to tell you, listen, thank you very much for supporting USAWatchdog.com. Every single video now is getting demonetized. It leaked for 20, 30, 40. One of the views I had, one of the interviews I had, 90,000 views, they gave me back monetization. They gave me monetization. The monetization game has a long commercials. Most people don't want to play them or no commercials. And, monetization comes with the 20-second non-skippable ad, the 30-second ads, something that people will sit there and watch. But anyway, or no ads, with demonetization, no ads at all. But anyway, they're demonetizing everything. I don't know what the deal is. And then they're giving it back to me. After out of 24 hours or the weekend or after 40,000 views, usually about 40,000 views. But anyway, listen, I don't want you to be fearful, okay? I know I say dreadful things, but I want you to be informed. Evil wants you to be afraid. Evil wants you to shut up and take it and knuckle under. That's what evil wants you to do. Don't be afraid. Don't knuckle under, and evil wants you to give up. Don't give up. Never give up. Okay? And this is why I say prepare yourself mentally, physically, above all spiritually. Fear not. God the Father and Jesus Christ are firmly in control. Lead on them. Lean on them and pray. And pray for the president. And don't stop praying. And that just means while you're walking down the street, hey, Lord, please help President Trump. Because he's all we got, folks. Is he perfect? Nope. Does he make some bad deals? Yep. But is he going to be overall good for America, freedom, the Constitution, your Second Amendment rights, your First Amendment rights, your Bill of Rights? Is he going to be good? Yes. Yes, I think so. So thank you for supporting USA Watchdog with your comments and your donations. That helps us out. And again, fear not, prepare yourself mentally, physically, and above all spiritually. God the Father and Son, Jesus Christ, are fully and firmly in control. Thank you for your support.